Jennifer Walsh, a 34-year-old elementary school teacher at Riverside Elementary in Columbus, Ohio, believed she had built the perfect life with her husband of 10 years, Kevin Walsh. Their suburban home on Maple Street represented everything Jennifer had dreamed of since childhood: a stable marriage, successful careers, and their 8-year-old daughter Emma, who excelled in school and loved playing soccer on weekends. Kevin, 37 years old, worked as a regional sales manager for a medical equipment company based in Cleveland, requiring him to travel throughout Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia approximately 3 weeks per month. His annual income of $87,000, combined with Jennifer's teacher salary of $48,000, provided their family with a comfortable middle-class lifestyle and allowed them to save for Emma's college education. Jennifer had always admired Kevin's dedication to his work and his ability to provide financial stability for their family. His frequent business travel had been a source of minor tension early in their marriage, but Jennifer had adapted to managing household responsibilities independently while maintaining her own teaching career. Their relationship appeared strong to friends, family, and colleagues who viewed the Walshes as a model suburban couple. Kevin was actively involved in Emma's activities when he was home, attending parent-teacher conferences, soccer games, and school events. Jennifer often posted photos on social media showing their family trips, holiday celebrations, and Kevin's surprise gifts after his business trips. However, Kevin Walsh had been living a carefully constructed double life for the entirety of his marriage to Jennifer. Approximately 180 miles away in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Kevin maintained a second family under the name Kevin Williams, using his middle name William as his surname and claiming to be divorced from his first wife due to irreconcilable differences. In Pittsburgh, Kevin lived with Sarah Williams, a 31-year-old nurse at UPMC Presbyterian Hospital, and their 2 children, 6-year-old Jacob and 4-year-old Madison. Sarah believed she had been in a committed relationship with Kevin for 7 years and had no knowledge of his legal marriage to Jennifer or the existence of Emma. Kevin's deception required meticulous planning and compartmentalization that he had maintained through elaborate scheduling, separate bank accounts, and distinct social media profiles. He rented a small apartment in Pittsburgh under the Williams name while maintaining legal residence at the Columbus address he shared with Jennifer. The logistics of Kevin's double life were complex but manageable, given his legitimate work travel schedule. He would spend approximately 2 weeks per month in Columbus with Jennifer and Emma, 1 week conducting actual business travel throughout his assigned territory, and 1 week in Pittsburgh with Sarah and their children. To Jennifer, Kevin's absences were explained as extended, business trips requiring overnight stays in various cities to meet with hospital administrators and medical device purchasers. To Sarah, his absences were attributed to shared custody arrangements with his supposedly difficult ex-wife, who lived in another state and demanded strict adherence to visitation schedules. Kevin maintained separate cell phones for each identity, used different banks for his financial accounts, and carefully managed his social media presence to ensure that no photographs or posts would reveal his dual existence to either family. His work email and professional contacts were structured to support both cover stories without creating contradictions. The financial management of Kevin's double life required him to divide his income strategically between both households. He provided approximately 60% of his earnings to support Jennifer and Emma, while using the remaining 40% to maintain his relationship with Sarah and their children. Both women believed they were receiving appropriate financial support based on Kevin's claimed income level. Kevin's success in maintaining this deception for nearly a decade demonstrated sophisticated planning and psychological compartmentalization that allowed him to function effectively as a husband and father in both locations without either family becoming suspicious of his true circumstances. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. The elaborate deception began unraveling in March 2024. When Jennifer decided to surprise Kevin during one of his business trips by arranging childcare for Emma and driving to Pittsburgh to meet him for a romantic dinner. She had discovered through Kevin's work calendar that he would be staying at the Marriott downtown and wanted to reconnect after feeling disconnected due to his increased travel schedule. Jennifer's surprise visit was planned as a gesture to strengthen their marriage. After several months of growing apart, due to Kevin's work demands and her own stress from teaching and single parenting during his absences. She had arranged for her sister to watch Emma overnight and had made dinner reservations at Kevin's favorite steakhouse in Pittsburgh. However, when Jennifer arrived at the Marriott and inquired about Kevin Walsh's room, the front desk staff informed her that no guest by that name was registered at the hotel. Jennifer's initial assumption was that Kevin's plans had changed and he was staying at a different hotel, so she began calling him to coordinate their meeting. Kevin's response to Jennifer's unexpected presence in Pittsburgh was panic and confusion. He was actually at Sarah's apartment helping Jacob with homework, while Sarah prepared dinner for their family. When Jennifer's calls began coming through on his personal phone, Kevin claimed to Sarah that his ex-wife was creating problems about their custody arrangements and that he needed to handle the situation privately. Kevin met Jennifer at a restaurant near the hotel district, explaining that his company had changed his accommodation arrangements at the last minute and that he was staying at a different location. He appeared nervous and distracted during their dinner, claiming that work stress was affecting his mood and concentration. Jennifer noticed Kevin's unusual behavior, but attributed it to the pressure he frequently mentioned regarding his sales targets and the demanding nature of his travel schedule. However, she began paying closer attention to inconsistencies in his explanations about his work activities and locations. The discovery that would eventually expose Kevin's double life occurred in July 24 when Jennifer found a child's drawing in Kevin's briefcase while looking for a phone charger. The drawing depicted a family of 4 with names written below each figure: Daddy Kevin, Mommy Sarah, Jacob, and Madison. Jennifer's initial reaction was confusion, followed by the assumption that the drawing had been created by a child Kevin had met during his business travels, perhaps the offspring of a colleague or client. However, the familial nature of the drawing and the inclusion of Kevin as daddy created immediate concern about its significance. When Jennifer confronted Kevin about the drawing, his explanation was hesitant and unconvincing. He claimed that a colleague's children had drawn the picture and included him as a family friend, but his obvious discomfort and inability to provide specific details about the colleague or circumstances raised Jennifer's suspicions significantly. Jennifer's investigation into Kevin's activities began systematically, reflecting her organized approach to teaching and problem solving. She started by reviewing their joint bank statements and credit card records, looking for patterns or expenditures that might reveal information about Kevin's true activities during his claimed business trips. The financial analysis revealed several concerning patterns, including regular charges at restaurants, gas stations, and retail stores in Pittsburgh that occurred during periods when Kevin claimed to be conducting business in other cities. Additionally, Jennifer discovered automatic payments to utilities and services for an address in Pittsburgh that Kevin had never mentioned. Jennifer's discovery of the Pittsburgh address led her to conduct online research that revealed property records showing Kevin Williams as the tenant of an apartment in the Shadyside neighborhood. Further investigation through social media searches revealed photographs of Kevin with Sarah Williams and 2 young children who matched the names from the drawing Emma had found. The evidence Jennifer accumulated over several weeks of investigation painted a clear picture of Kevin's secret family in Pittsburgh. Social media posts, public records, and financial transactions provided comprehensive documentation of his decade-long deception and his maintenance of parallel relationships in 2 different cities. The confrontation between Jennifer and Kevin occurred on August 15, 24, when Jennifer presented the evidence she had gathered about his secret family. Kevin's initial response was denial, followed by attempts to minimize the significance of his relationship with Sarah and the children, claiming they were close friends rather than a romantic family unit. However, Jennifer's documentation was too comprehensive to dismiss, and Kevin eventually admitted to maintaining relationships with both families simultaneously. His explanation focused on his inability to choose between the 2 women and his desire to avoid hurting either family by ending their relationships. Kevin's confession revealed the full extent of his deception, including his use of false identity documents, his division of financial resources between both households, and his coordination of complex scheduling to maintain his presence in both families' lives without detection. Jennifer's reaction to learning about Kevin's decade-long deception was initially shock, followed by rage about the betrayal of trust and the implications for Emma's relationship with her father. The revelation that Kevin had other children created additional concerns about Emma's emotional welfare and her understanding of family relationships. The immediate aftermath of Jennifer's discovery involved her decision to contact Sarah Williams directly to inform her about Kevin's legal marriage and his deception of both families. Jennifer's motivation was to ensure that Sarah had complete information about Kevin's circumstances and could make informed decisions about her own future. The conversation between Jennifer and Sarah revealed that both women had been victims of Kevin's systematic deception, though their reactions to the revelation differed significantly. Jennifer focused on protecting Emma and pursuing legal remedies, while Sarah initially attempted to maintain her relationship with Kevin despite learning about his marriage. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more shocking true crime stories. Let us know in the comments what you think would be the most difficult part of discovering your spouse had been living a double life for 10 years. The legal implications of Kevin's deception became apparent when Jennifer consulted with divorce attorneys about her options for ending the marriage and securing custody of Emma. The complex financial arrangements Kevin had maintained created challenges for determining asset division and establishing appropriate child support obligations. Jennifer also discovered that Kevin's use of false identity documents and fraudulent representation of his marital status to Sarah potentially constituted criminal fraud, though prosecutors would need to determine whether sufficient evidence existed to pursue charges beyond the civil divorce proceedings. Kevin's response to the exposure of his double life was initially attempts to reconcile with both families by claiming that his deception had been motivated by love for everyone involved rather than malicious intent. However, both Jennifer and Sarah rejected his explanations and began pursuing legal action to protect their respective interests. The custody arrangements for the 3 children became particularly complex, as Kevin's deception had created a situation where Emma had half-siblings she had never known existed, while Jacob and Madison learned that their father had been married to another woman throughout their entire lives. Child psychologists were consulted to help all 3 children process the trauma of learning about their father's deception and to determine appropriate custody and visitation arrangements that would serve their best interests despite the complicated family circumstances Kevin had created. Jennifer filed for divorce in September 2024, seeking primary custody of Emma and substantial financial support to compensate for Kevin's diversion of marital assets to support his secret family. The divorce proceedings revealed the full extent of Kevin's financial deception, including hidden assets and income that had been concealed from Jennifer throughout their marriage. Sarah Williams filed paternity suits to establish Kevin's legal obligations to Jacob and Madison, while also pursuing civil fraud claims related to his misrepresentation of his circumstances during their relationship. Her legal strategy focused on securing financial support for the children while holding Kevin accountable for his deliberate deception. The criminal investigation into Kevin's activities was initiated when prosecutors determined that his use of false documentation and fraudulent representation constituted identity theft and fraud charges under Ohio and Pennsylvania state laws. His systematic deception over a decade demonstrated criminal intent beyond civil relationship disputes. Kevin Walsh was arrested in October 24 on charges including identity theft, fraud, and filing false documents related to his maintenance of dual identities and his deception of both families. The charges carried potential penalties including substantial fines and imprisonment that would affect his ability to support either family. The case attracted media attention throughout Ohio and Pennsylvania due to the elaborate nature of Kevin's deception and the impact on multiple families who had trusted him completely. Legal experts noted that the case demonstrated the potential criminal consequences of maintaining fraudulent relationships rather than pursuing honest divorce proceedings. Emma Walsh required extensive counseling to process the revelation that her father had other children and had been lying to her family throughout her entire life. School counselors worked with Jennifer to provide appropriate support while maintaining Emma's academic progress and social relationships. Jacob and Madison Williams faced similar psychological challenges in understanding why their father had maintained secret relationships and whether his love for them was genuine, given his capacity for sustained deception. Family therapists emphasized the importance of reassuring all 3 children that their father's actions were not their fault. The financial resolution of Kevin's dual relationships required complex negotiations involving both families' attorneys, financial analysts, and court-appointed mediators. Kevin's income and assets were insufficient to maintain the standard of living, both families had enjoyed while he was dividing his resources secretly. Jennifer Walsh was awarded primary custody of Emma with supervised visitation rights for Kevin, contingent on his completion of counseling programs and his compliance with financial support obligations. The court emphasized that Kevin's deception had demonstrated poor judgment that raised concerns about his parenting capabilities. Sarah Williams received similar custody arrangements for Jacob and Madison, with additional provisions requiring Kevin to undergo psychological evaluation to determine his fitness for unsupervised contact with his children. The court noted that his decade-long deception indicated potential personality disorders that needed professional assessment. The criminal proceedings resulted in Kevin's conviction on multiple fraud charges, leading to a sentence of 3 years in state prison, plus probation and restitution obligations to both families. His conviction also affected his professional licensing and employment prospects in medical equipment sales. Jennifer Walsh has relocated with Emma to a different school district to provide distance from the media attention and community gossip surrounding Kevin's case. She has returned to full-time teaching while pursuing additional education to increase her earning potential as a single mother. Sarah Williams moved closer to her extended family in Pennsylvania to receive support while raising Jacob and Madison as a single mother. She has returned to nursing school to advance her career and improve her financial stability, independent of Kevin's support. Kevin Walsh is currently serving his sentence at the Marion Correctional Institution in Ohio. He has participated in psychological counseling and has expressed remorse for his actions, though both Jennifer and Sarah have declined his requests for reconciliation or expanded visitation with the children. The case prompted discussions about the psychological and legal implications of maintaining fraudulent relationships over extended periods, particularly when children are involved, and their emotional welfare is affected by discovering their parents' capacity for sustained deception. Mental health professionals have used Kevin's case to study the psychology of individuals who maintain parallel lives and the impact such deception has on family. Members who discover they have been systematically deceived by someone they trusted completely. Emma, Jacob, and Madison continue to receive counseling support while adapting to their new family circumstances. All 3 children have expressed confusion about their father's actions, but have shown resilience in adjusting to single-parent households with strong support systems.